I can live as a servant or a slave. Maybe I can do enough to be of some service to my dad, be of some redeeming quality of my life. This plan had merit, the return part, except for one thing. He knew that the people in that village hated him for what he had done. He knew that the people hated him because he had disgraced all of them by wishing his father dead, first of all, and then secondly by wasting his father's inheritance, or his inheritance, what his father had given him, and not only wasting it, but also disposing of that to the despised Gentiles, because that's where he had ended up. So the prodigal had really no solution for this second situation of returning to the Father's house. He knew there would be animosity. He knew the crowd, he knew the people in that community would not take kindly to his return. The father, because of his experience, knew two things about his son. Once again, because of his lack of maturity in making such a request. And then secondly, the fact that he lacked character. His father knew that he would not succeed. His father knew that his son would not return home successful. That most likely his son would return home a failure, a beggar, as most likely. The second thing he knew was that the village would not treat him with welcome arms. The village would not welcome him back. Once again, Jesus is telling the story, and the men he was telling the story to in that time understood all of this. Like I said, it takes us a little while to soak it up, because we don't think like they think, and we're not there. So I'm trying to give you a mindset of that mid-Eastern culture and all the implications in just this one parable that Jesus was sharing with them. The father knew that his son most likely would return disgraced, and secondly, that he would not be welcomed by any part of the community. Townspeople had openly and repeatedly told him, "You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have given that boy the money. You shouldn't have given him your inheritance. Now he's gone off. He's wasted it." He knows that if the son ever does return, what is facing him. That there will be those who likely begin to gather at the edge of town as the prodigal walks into town. There will be likely news will travel quickly through the community that the son, the prodigal, the wasteful, the extravagant spender has returned. They would probably gather at the edge of the city, and as he walked through the city to his father's house, most likely would begin to jeer at him, spit on him, maybe even harm him physically. It was the gauntlet of shame that he would have to walk back to the Father's house just to become a servant. But he had to get there. He had to get to the Father's house so he could make his request of becoming just a servant.